And the whole Christmas idea and Easter idea was all pagan. This is information that anybody in the whole entire world can just look up and see. When you type in what are the origins of Easter, what are the origins of Christmas and all these holidays that Christians celebrate, they will all take you to pagan origins. This was a red flag for us. And we said, okay, well, if all of these holidays are pagan in origin, what the heck are we doing celebrating them?
Yeah.
We back. What's happening, everybody?
Is that serious?
Yep, I'm putting that in.
Okay. Hey guys, no, it feels so good to be back. We are very excited to be back in our recording studio.
In the spot.
And it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on. So we just came out of Yom Kippur, which was crazy. That maybe we'll say that for a different video.
Yeah.
I was sick during Yom Kippur, so it was very, very hard. Actually, I've been sick this whole week. This past week, my birthday, for her birthday, Yom Kippur was like the ultimate sick, and it was crazy. Thank God, today I'm feeling the best that I have been since this past week, and but hey, thank God.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch
Doing
Hashem.
better.
Maybe we'll talk about some of that later on, but that's not for this video. For this video, we want to talk about we want to go back in the day a little bit. So we want to talk about how we went from Christianity to Judaism. So a lot of you guys know that Christianity was our background. That's where we came from. I was raised as a Christian, and she wasn't necessarily raised as a Christian. She became one once we got married, and we've been on a journey, and it's been a beautiful journey these handful of years, and we want to talk a little bit more about it.
So, like you said, it has definitely been a journey for us, and you guys seen some of our videos, obviously, where we're talking about our journey from Christianity to Judaism, but we get so many questions still, so much about, what was that like? And so I think this video, we're just going to go a little bit more into detail of really what that looked like, because we'll talk briefly of like it was this, and this, and this, but this video specifically is going to just talk about the specifics that we were just learning and transitioning and just what that really looked like.
So as I mentioned before, I was raised as a Christian, and I grew up a strong, devout Christian. Basically my whole entire family are Christians who I love dearly. My uncle was my pastor back in the day, and he still is pastoring to this day. And I would go to church multiple times a week, go to the Sunday school, it was Bible study, and it was choir rehearsal, and it was just a thing. Like, faith and spirituality was a gigantic part of my life. My parents really, really instilled in me to have that relationship with God. So it was just something that I just grew up in, and that's all I knew. I knew church, I knew faith, I knew spirituality, I knew God, right?
And so, like he said, here he is, right? This devoted Christian who came into my life, right? And here I am, who has no background in church or, deep spirituality like he had or has actually still. But for me, my mom, she was raised Catholic, and I knew my mom did believe in God. I saw her pray every single night. She was always praying, and I just never really, talked to her about it. She just said that's her way of communicating to God, and I thought that was great and that was beautiful. But me specifically, I always believed that there was a higher power. I always believed that there was a God. And then, meeting Ladero, we met when we were 20 and 21, and things moved really fast for us. We got married 9 months, after dating, but I think during that time of meeting him, what I did love about him, even though I didn't understand everything about as far as with his whole Christian walk and just Christianity and the church and how everything worked, I did love the fact that he was so much in love with God and just seeking after his heart. Like that was something I loved and admired so much about him, because I couldn't really even explain like why is it that I'm so attracted to the fact that this man but loves God so much with me not even having a full understanding of all of that. I just thought it was just beautiful. And so with that said, us being together and dating, and that was one of the things that he just wanted to make sure that I had a relationship, with God too. And he was very good about not pressuring me. It's not like he was like, you've got to be a Christian and this and this. He let me like basically just kind of go at my own pace, and never forced me to say you have to go to church. And so I started literally my own faith walk and my own journey, and I actually started growing. But I really did question a lot of stuff. Things just didn't really make sense for me, and I think me not coming from that background, rightfully so, I had so many questions, but I just felt like my questions were not being answered, and a lot of things just didn't really make sense. A lot of stuff honestly didn't resonate 100% with me, and I think I just kept trying to seek and find and go, okay, this will click, this will make sense, this will, and it never did 100%.
Yeah, and I think for me, I can't say that I didn't understand it, because when you grow up as a Christian or a particular religious belief or under a religious belief, you that's all you know, right? So in your heart, you understand what you're doing there, right? You understand that this is my life, this is who I am. And as I began to start growing, we start growing together in our marriage. That's when we decided to say, hey, okay, let's explore this thing a little bit deeper and really see if we really now understand it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
What does Christianity mean for our marriage? What does it mean for our relationship? What does it mean for our future? And the moment that we got on that track, that's when we really started to ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know for me, I mean, like I said before, all I knew was this walk of life. I mean, I was a strong Christian. I used to be the guy where I would go out and I would, tell everybody about Jesus. I would tell everybody about him everywhere I go. But I wouldn't do it in a weird way though. I was never weird. I would talk to people and just connect and communicate and have natural conversation. And within the conversation, I'll slide in certain things, and then I'll go in and I'll do my whole little Christian thing, whatever. But but here's the thing. I look back on that now because of what we do now and who we are as a family. What I was really, really doing and what I wanted everybody to know about God. That's what I did want. Now I had a different way of going about that. In Christianity, the goal is to get people to believe in what they call the Son of God, which is Jesus. And so that's the goal. You're sharing this gospel, sharing this message about Jesus. And so what that really meant was I did really want to tell the whole world about God. That was the goal of my life, right? Again, it was packaged differently, but the underlining part was I wanted to tell the whole world about God. And so when we started our marriage journey, our spiritual journey, we started asking a lot of these questions. Okay, what is this idea about this man now being looked at as a God figure, right? This whole divinity about Jesus, that was something that we started having a really hard time grasping. How can this all supreme being also be considered a man at the same time? That wasn't really adding up to me. The virgin birth wasn't making any sense to us at that point, because as we started learning about the Torah and Judaism, we started really getting an understanding about the source and the foundation of the Torah. So we learned that the Messiah has to come from the line of David. Well, Jesus wasn't from the line of David. He came from a virgin birth, right? So that was a disconnection there, you know? Then we started asking, well, where did this New Testament come from? Who started this New Testament? Back in the time of Jesus, there was no New Testament. The New Testament wasn't canonized and compiled until, 300 and something years after he passed away. So what documents, what books did they have access to during the time of Jesus? And what they had was the Torah. That's what they had at that time. And so, then I'm like, okay, well, where did all of these new books come from? And that was now so-called attached on to the Jewish Bible. And then you start learning about the Council of Nicaea.
That was the one that like really shifted a lot of stuff for us, is really just finding out more about the Council of Nicaea and where everything came from. And I think another thing too with what we were questioning so much too, as we were getting closer and just starting to question stuff, getting closer to Judaism, we started wondering why, in Christianity, why weren't they talking about, more of the original book, the Tanakh, right? Like, why weren't we talking about those things, or what the Christians call the Old Testament? A lot of stuff isn't taught in that, and a lot of things were always portrayed back to Jesus in there, and there's no form of him in that whatsoever. There's nothing that mentions him. Prophets never even talked about this man. So it was just things like that we started really questioning and wondering, okay, well, where is this all coming from, right? And if, Jesus was a Jew, then why aren't people doing, especially Christians, why aren't we really doing the teachings of what a Jewish person would be doing? Like, why aren't we, celebrating Pesach? Why are we celebrating Easter? Why are we celebrating Christmas? Why aren't we celebrating Hanukkah? Like, it's things like that just, we were like, that makes no sense whatsoever. And to know, like he said, Jesus was Jewish doing all these things. There was no New Testament doctrine until years after. So why are we following something that didn't even come from the man that we're supposed to be learning and following?
Another thing that was interesting to us was there was another guy named Paul. Think about it. A lot of the things that Paul would teach, Jesus didn't talk about. Just look at it, right? Look at the things that Jesus talked about in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. First of all, nobody even know who they are. Nobody knows who Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are. These are literally eyewitness accounts. If you really, really do your research, I'll let Rabbi Tovia Singer, be the one to handle all that stuff. You guys can talk to Rabbi Tovia Singer about all that.
Shout out to Rabbi Tovia Singer.
Shout out Rabbi Tovia. We're gonna do another video with Rabbi Tovia soon. B'ezrat Hashem.
Yeah.
But if you really study the four Gospels, there's a lot of parts that don't add up, meaning they don't say the same thing. There's an account here, there's an account here, and they all say different things. And we were just like, man, we're supposed to be following Jay.
Yeah.
Right, but we're not like really doing what he taught though. Mm-hmm. That was the interesting part. He mentioned Jewish stuff. He didn't talk about Christmas. He didn't talk about no Christmas. Yeah, I don't know, man. He didn't talk. He didn't talk about none of that stuff. And the whole Christmas idea and Easter idea was all pagan, right? And here's the thing. What was interesting was that me saying that Christmas and Easter is pagan, this isn't like hidden information. This is information that anybody in the whole entire world can just look up and see, type in, like, we got Google. Come on, guys. We got AI now. Like, you really can't, there's really no excuse, but when you type in, what are the origins of Easter? What are the origins of Christmas and all these holidays that Christians celebrate? Mm. And they will all take you to pagan origins. this was a red flag for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, okay, well, if all of these holidays are pagan in origin, what the heck are we doing celebrating them?
Yeah. Especially when, obviously for Christians, their biggest day of worship is Sunday. So when we even started finding out about Sunday, we found out that Sunday actually meant they were worshiping the sun god.
It was a Sunday.
That's where that came from, right? It's on a Sunday.
And so it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Now, this isn't a video of us trying to attack Christianity. Maybe it may sound like that, but we are just letting you know where we were.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're doing.
And we're also just answering the questions that people want to keep, people keep asking us, what did that journey look like? Like, what made you go from Christianity to Judaism? So this video is literally answering that specific question or questions, because we got multiple questions of people saying, so what was that like for you going from Christianity to Judaism? And like he said, this is not to bash. He has family that are still Christians to this very day. There's nothing but love and respect. But again, I want to remind all those viewers and people who are going to come on and maybe want to comment, this is our story. This is our journey. We're not trying to tell a Christian, stop being a Christian. This is us saying why Christianity started not making sense for us. And why we grew out of that and we were connected to Judaism. Why our souls connected so much to Judaism.
And so another thing that me and you talked about was the humongous emphasis on Jesus more than Moses.
100%.
Listen, when we started learning about Judaism, she was like, I had no idea really what Moses was about, right?
This is 100% true what he's saying, and it's embarrassing and almost it's pretty shameful, because in Christianity we never talked about Moses. I never even knew how great of a leader, how great of a prophet Moses was. He's the greatest prophet of all.
Yep.
And to not even know anything about that's a problem. Because again, a lot of Christians say that, what they call the Old Testament was done away with. So that means they're not going to teach a lot about the original book where everything comes from. That's the original. And you're not learning that. Everything you're mostly reading is in, the Christians' book, their New Testament, which comes from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Like, that's all we kept learning all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And don't, I know there will be some Christians that are going to come up here and say, what do you mean? We learn about, of course, the Exodus, and we're learning about, Genesis and all this stuff. And it's like, I know you guys do, but my point is saying that the teachings of Moses was not emphasized or really taught like it should have. I did not know ever how major Moses was, especially to the Jewish people.
Yeah. I mean, the Torah, the foundation of Jewish life, was given to Moses. It was given to Moses, right? And these are things that I personally didn't learn growing up. I did, every now and then, she mentioned, an Exodus, or we'll read things here and there. But we just thought that was something that was very interesting, and we thought it was problematic. So with that said, my wife and I have always been truth seekers. We always wanted to just know truth. And I believe that's how we got to where we are now. That's how we got to Judaism, because seeking the truth led us to, here's the thing. When we wanted to really get closer and closer to God, we started going through different cycles. We went through a whole bunch of different phases in that spiritual journey. We were moving through different parts of Christianity. We got out of it, and we started.
We didn't even mention that we went through the phase of like different churches.
We were church hopping, yeah.
And I must say this too: we were very much connected to the pastors and major leaders in the church. Like, we were always connected to each church that we went to with the main leaders there. So it's not even a thing of like, oh, nobody really told us nothing and we weren't really connected to the pastor. Every single church that we went to, we were connected to the pastor.
Yeah.
So it's not even a thing of that. It was just our own journey of just questioning and wanting to go deeper. And that's just something you really don't do in Christianity. Like, you're not supposed to really question things so much.
Right. You can't question.
And if you do question it, it's not really a legitimate response that you're going to get back. It's not a response that is going to give you a source to go say, hey, well, go look up Rashi, right? So you can get some commentary on this and know what you're asking. It's like we didn't have anything like that. So that's where the problem came, to where we just didn't have answers. And I got to a point where, like he said, we were always seeking to find God and just the truth and to know him deeper and to have a deeper relationship. But it's hard to have that when you just don't have the answers to what you're looking for. So Judaism connected all those missing dots.
So to piggyback on what she was saying, as far as in Christianity, there's no Masorah, right? Nothing, no traditions being passed down like Judaism. Judaism, the Jewish people have books and traditions that can be tracked and traced all the way back to Moses, Mount Sinai. And that was so beautiful to us, that they had all these things that, like the same Torah that we have to this day, can be tracked, right? Can be tracked all the way back to Moses, Mount Sinai. And we compare that to what was available within Christianity, and you can't do that, right? What do you have? You got the church fathers. And so what is the Masorah there? Like, what was passed down? Like, what books are available? What traditions are available to be able to teach so that there can be unification? When you look at the Jewish people, when you look at Orthodox Jewish, when you look at Orthodox Judaism, there's a unification. The way that the Jewish people wrap tefillin today is how they wrapped tefillin 1,200 years ago. How do we know this? Because the Jewish people have not just a written Torah. They have an oral component. There's an oral Torah. When Moses was given the Torah on Mount Sinai, he was given both. He was giving the commandments and the explanations of those commandments. That is the beauty of that Torah. It was explanations on how to wrap tefillin. What do they look like? What are tzitzit? What are these things? How long are they supposed to be? How do you tie them? What colors are supposed to be in there? What part of the garment does it hang on? Can you just clip it on? Can it go? Can you have two? All these things. How to slaughter animals properly. What is a kosher animal? Listen, all of the explanations of how to live a Jewish life. How do we live and connect back to that essence, that space, that energy that was available on Mount Sinai, that was transmitted and passed down from generation to generation. And that is what's still available today, that allows the Jewish people to maintain uniformity all around the world.
And that, my friends, is what is so beautiful about Judaism. It is the most beautiful thing. Like he said, we can look back thousands of years and nothing has changed. And the fact that that is given to the Jewish people, we want that.
Yeah.
We are attracted to that. We wanted structure. We wanted clarity. We wanted to know this is why you do what you do.
Yeah.
It makes sense that everything that we're doing, some people have asked us, why are you wanting to come to this world of Judaism when there's so many restrictions and laws and this, and you got to do this and this and this. And it's not a restriction to us. It's what we were seeking. We were looking to have a book that tells us this is what you do and why you do it. So to the Jewish people, I hope you understand how amazing and beautiful you are. And the fact that you have a layout and a map to tell you basically how to live your life. Ladero and I, we wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
And this is why we're fighting for converting to Judaism. This is what we want. It's the most beautiful thing. Cherish it. And we're very thankful that Hashem has allowed us to even see what we were in to where we are going, and to see how much more beautiful that the Jewish people, what they really have. You know, they have that Tanakh, which is the most beautiful thing, and it's something that we're just going to cherish.
She said it all. She said it all. We love the walk that we're on. We're happy. Nothing's going to turn us away from it. We're committed. We changed everything in our lives to go down this direction. And it's the best decision that we've ever made. And there's no looking back. There's no back doors. There's none of that stuff. Like we are all in. We're committed. We're committed to learning. We're committed to growing ourselves. We're committed to spirituality. We're committed to Hashem. We're committed to our family. We're committed to our community. We're committed. We're committed to Jewish life.
You know, people say like, well, what was it that really like clicked and resonated besides everything that we said? You know, we just believe, like, you know, the people always say your neshamas was at Mount Sinai, right? And I just believe that's where that connection and that yearning, we were there. And I think that once we got a taste in knowing what Judaism was and to learn and educate ourselves, it was like our neshama got connected right back and was like, this is where you were and this is what you're missing. So, you know, for us, I definitely believe that, because if you ask the ger, like, well, why did you get connected? You can't explain it. You can't explain it besides the things that are obvious, the truth about everything. But there's, I think, something deeper that we can't explain of why we desire and yearn it. It's like a missing piece that we just were, you know, looking for. And when we found it, it was like, that's it.
That's it. We always say we just knew.
Yeah.
When you can't really explain it, it was something that was calling us, something that our hearts connected to. We opened up that Torah and we connected and we said, okay, this is where we need to be. This is home for us. So that's a little bit more in depth about where we came from, about our journey from Christianity to Judaism, and it's been a journey. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen. This is a little bit longer video, but we thought since it's been a while, why not just kind of kick it for a little bit and pour our hearts out and go a little bit deeper with you guys. And we're so grateful. Thank you so much, guys, for all of your support.
So like you said, thank you again, guys, for just tuning in. Thank you for, you know, being a part of our family on social media and just always loving us. And thank you for the kind comments. Thank you again. We love and appreciate you guys so much. So if you would like to check out a little bit more of our videos, please subscribe. And you'll be able to definitely see a list of some of our things that we have things on our journey, right? While we started on me talking about modesty. We have our kids, our family.
Which we need to do more of, by the way.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. Some people have been asking us, by the way, really quick of like, well, you know, can your kids talk and come on there? We don't pressure our kids to get on the camera. They actually are more kind of private with that stuff, and we kind of keep it, you know, to me and Ladero for the most part. So I don't think you'll be seeing our kids too much on a camera like this.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys so much. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And we will see you guys on the next video.
Bye, guys. Thank you.